Hey guys, Ashley here. Today I'm going to be bringing you my March wrap up because I actually read books this month. What? I usually only read probably right now since I'm in college 1 to 2 books a month, and I read a good amount of books this month, so I thought I would give you a nice little wrap up. And honestly, that may or may not be because I decided to ignore my assigned reading for the semester. Do not condone that. Don't do it. But you know, your girl gotta do what you gotta do. So, without further ado, here are the books I read in the month of March. The first book I picked up was the first in the Captive Prince trilogy, so that is just the Captive Prince by C.S. Pacat. I had always heard a lot about this series and I really wanted to try. I am a big romance reader and a fantasy reader, and this is kind of a combination of the two. So overall, I gave this one 4 stars. I think the hype of it definitely got to me. I felt like it was more of a setup in a sense for the second book. Oh my god, I forgot I bought the second book. Oh my god, I can't wait to read this. How did I forget I bought this? Wow. Anyway, well, I'm excited to go to book number 2. So the next set of books I read, I had already talked about previously, but I'm going to include it in this wrap up as well, and that is Furthermore and Witchbud by Tahara Mafi. So, listen up, people. I have never read the Shatter Me series. Will I ever? Who knows? But I decided to take on her middle readers, and I honestly think I didn't pick up Shatter Me just because now that it's no longer just a trilogy, it's 6-book thing happening, it's kind of, that's a lot of money to go towards new hardcovers. So I was like, I'll just buy these 2 instead. And I really like them, y'all. I gave both of them 5 stars. Even though they're a middle reader, they were super, super good. Loved it. It was magical, fun, fantasy. Furthermore, kind of based off of Alice in Wonderland. Witchwood, which is the companion to Furthermore, because the characters in this one show up in this one. I think you should read Furthermore first because they do reference back to it a lot in Witchwood, and it's not confusing in any way, but I think having read Furthermore definitely helped me care about the characters more and what was happening. But oh, I just love them so much, and the covers are so, so beautiful, and I'm really, really wanting her to make more in this world. I had the pleasure of meeting her. She is so lovely, and the way she speaks, if you ever get a chance to go listen to Tahara Mafi speak, highly recommend, because she is so intellectual and poetic. Just hearing her speak, I almost teared up because what she was saying was so beautiful. I'm like, damn. Next book I picked up, I have also previously mentioned, but we'll mention it again, and it is the manga series I have been reading with Emma, and that is Astra Lost in Space Volume 2! I was so excited when this came out. If you don't know what Astra Lost in Space is about, this is a manga series about a group of kids who go on a summer space camp sort of thing where they are dropped off at a planet and left alone. I guess it's a kind of social experiment. But something goes wrong and they end up lost in space trying to find their way home. And the second one definitely was still just as great as the first one. Also gave this 5 stars. Obviously sticky noted. I love all the characters in here. It has a full cast of characters and you just get to know them super well. And something's happened in this book and I was like, oh my gosh, we were... I'm here for it. I'm super here for it. Next book I picked up, Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. This was definitely one of my highly anticipated contemporary reads for the spring season, honestly, just because look at the aesthetics of this cover, people. It is so nice. Like that pink with that gold foil tin font thing going on. Yeah, but this one is about a girl named Penny who is kind of just lost in her life. High school and even her boyfriend that she has just haven't made a huge impact on her, so it is about her going to college where she stumbles into Sam, and they have a not so cute awkward meet cute and exchange numbers and continue their interactions via text. They don't hang out in person, they don't meet up, they just text each other and become each other's emergency contact. I gave this one also 5 stars. This month was just a month of 5 stars, I'm telling you. It was definitely more serious than I thought it would be, and not in a bad way. I thought it was gonna be this like light, fluffy, cute little contemporary. There is a trigger warning for sexual assault for this one, just letting you know. It was a lot of serious topics between the two individuals, and they kind of just discuss that with each other. They become each other's kind of like comfort person, and that unfolds, and of course it does have the romance in there, which is A++. But why I love this book so much. So Penny is actually Korean American, and I found myself relating to her so much. I am not Korean American, I am Vietnamese American, but oh my gosh, the things that were said in this book, I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, 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 yes. It's so great. And another thing, this author is from Texas. I live in Texas, and where Penny goes to college for school is UT, the University of Austin, in Austin, Texas, which I frequent many times a year because there's a bunch of cool bookish events there all the time. Reading a book in a familiar environment and setting that I know. Everything about this book is me. Obviously, I loved it. Obviously. Alright, the next couple books I picked up, I decided to reread Illuminae because obviously Obsidio came out this month. Wow! Okay, here's the story, people. I read Illuminae when it first came out, you know, then Gemini came out, and I just didn't read it, and I was like, what the hell? And I still hadn't read it till this month. In anticipation of Obsidio, I decided to pick up the audiobooks and listen to the audiobooks, and oh my gosh, guys, when people hype up this audiobook and say you need to listen to it, you need to listen to it. Incredible. As you've heard before, it has a full cast of characters. Every single person in this book is cast. Even people in the background are cast. Sound effects when people are shooting at each other, it's like pew 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 pew. You hear explosions, you hear screaming. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And honestly, hearing voices and stuff definitely helps you visualize the whole story more, in my opinion. I originally gave Illuminae 4 stars because I think when I originally read it, I found it a little bit difficult to connect with the characters just because of the format. And listening to the audiobook made me resonate with them more, so I definitely give it a 5-star on my second reread. Obviously, since I read Illuminae via audiobook for the reread, I read Gemina for the first time via audiobook. So this is the first audiobook I listened to where I hadn't read the book first, and oh my gosh, Gemina, Illuminae. Gemina just, If you saw a girl on the way to school on the highway just being like, ah, that was me. That was me. Because when I listen to my audiobooks, I have a big commute to the school I go to for college. Gemina was my audiobook of the month, and 5 out of 5 stars again. Nicholas Valikov, that voice actor, this character, I freaking loved. I freaking loved. And I did also go drive 4 hours to Dallas to go meet Jay Kristoff. If you know me, Nevernight is one of my fave series, and I obviously love the Illuminae files as well, so I got to meet him again. He signed all my books, and that was super amazing. Currently listening to Obsidio right now. It's going well. I'm very scared. I'm very scared. And the last book I read this month was Call Me By Your Name by Andre Ackerman. I really wanted to watch the movie. A lot of my friends had seen it and it was getting very good reviews. Obviously it got nominated for a bunch of Oscars. It just seemed right up my alley and it looked like a really good life type of movie. So I read the book. Guys, 5 out of 5 stars to Call Me By Your Name. And I will say this book caters to a certain type of person. It's definitely on the slower side. It's not a book where a lot of stuff happens plot-wise. Like I said, it's definitely a life kind of book. It was different than I thought it would be. You don't feel like you are Elio, you kind of feel like an observer. It's a great and beautiful book about love and sexual identity and sexuality, and it's really raw and beautiful and it's intimate, and I really liked it. Despite all the people saying that this is just like a book about sex, it really isn't. Yes, this book does have a lot of sexual content, so just be warned, but the way in which it is talked about in this book is a more like metaphorical and intimate view about Elio and like what he's going through. And the ending, if you read this book, shit guys, the ending, oh, I still think about it, it just depresses me. So obviously after I read this, I immediately went to go watch the movie, and I had to say this is one book I read that captured the vibe and the feelings I had reading this book perfectly and so beautifully in the movie. Movie is great, book is great, music is great, Call Me By Your Name, highly recommend. Let me just briefly talk about, even though this isn't a book, I did go watch Ready Player One this month. I read Ready Player One probably last summer. I really loved it. It was so thrilling, so exciting, this cool virtual reality world. I had really high hopes for this movie, and unfortunately it did not meet my expectations. I kind of would give it a C probably. Visually, it was great. All the visuals were super well done. The CGI was amazing. It was a great visual journey, don't get me wrong. But I think the movie lacked the sense of thrill that I felt in the book. So when I was reading the book, whenever Wade would find these like clues, each next clue to get closer to finding the Easter egg, it was so thrilling. But when I watched the movie, it kind of was like lackluster for me. I didn't feel thrilled. I didn't feel excited. They kind of focused on the romance too much, and that really isn't a big aspect of the book. And I really only enjoyed one scene in the movie. It is the scene, without spoiling it, it's when they find the second key. That was the only scene that felt a little bit bookish to me. Everything about that was great. But so that's my thoughts quickly on Ready Player One. Just want to include that in here. But alright guys, that is my March wrap up. I feel accomplished. I read a lot, I watched a lot. It was a good month for me. It was a good month. Don't forget to like and comment down below. Let me know if you read any of these. Feel free to let me know your comments and thoughts on Ready Player One, because I just have a lot of feelings towards that movie. Negative ones. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Ashley. This is ashleyoutpaged, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you.